कुंज विहारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन नबीर वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Just repeat the process, and it's been a while. I gave it to us.
So first we recite.
As it is on the screen.
Yeah, first we're gonna read the pranamantras like this one. Along with translation.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Namayanam namaskritya namaskeva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is very means of the conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Sri Vyasdev, the author. Nashtaprayeshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati nashkriti. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and the loving service unto the personality of God, who is pleased with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Chakshurumilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with visible light of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. And done, bro. No, we are done with that. So, yeah, now you can just let us know about the verses we're gonna cover. I'll open that.
So text 1, 427 1.
427, 1 to 1.
Only translation.
All of them,
Except the 12
Prabhu, only translation.
and 12 we recite.
King Prachina Varishwar. In this way, King Puranjana also begot 110 daughters. All of these were equally glorified like the father and mother. Their behavior was gentle and they possessed magnanimity and other good qualities.
After this, King Puranjana, king of the Panchala country, in order to increase the descendants of his paternal family, married his sons with qualified wives and married his daughters with qualified husbands.
Of these many sons, each produced hundreds and hundreds of grandsons. In this way, the whole city of Panchala became overcrowded by these sons and grandsons of King Puranjana.
These sons and grandsons were virtually plunderers of King Puranjana's riches, included his home, treasury, servants, secretaries, and all other paraphernalia. Puranjana's attachment for these things was very deep.
The great sage Narada continued, My dear King Prachirna Bharisht, like you, King Puranjana also become infatuated in so many desires. Thus he worshipped demigods, forefathers, and social leaders with various sacrifices, which were all very ghastly because they were inspired by the desire to kill animals.
That's right. Thus King Puranjana, being attached to furtive activities, karma kandya, as well as kith and kin, and being obsessed with polluted consciousness, eventually arrived at that point not very much liked by those who are overly attached to material things.
That's 1 to 12.
Oh.
And 12 words of the you can just click 12.
So, bro,
So
which
line by line, call and response, right? 12.
12. That's 12.
But first you can decide the
Yeah, I'm going to do
Canon
that.
and Veda.
I just read the meter, I want to share the meter now. Yes. So verse 12. युक्तेषु एवं प्रमत्तस्य कुटुम्बासक्तचेतसः आससाद सवैकालो यो प्रियप्रिययोषिताम् युक्तेषु एवं प्रमत्तस्य कुटुम्बासक्तचेतसः आससाद सवैकालो यो प्रियप्रिययोषिताम्
युक्तेषु एवं प्रमस्तास्य
Yuktesha
You can try, it's okay. Yuktesvevam pramattasya Kutum asakta chetasha
Asasada save kalo
yo priya priya yoshitam.
Yo priya yoshitam.
Yuktes evam pramattasya
Kutumbasakta cetasa
आससाद सवैकालो
Asasada save kalo Yo priya yoshitam.
Yuktesa evam pramattasya
Yukesa brahmasya
Kutumba
Asasada save kalo Yo priya yoshitam.
Read the purport as well.
word to word
Word for word
translation.
Word to translation and then purport.
And then translation and then purport.
The word to word and translation we all read together, and then purport either you can read or you can ask someone else.
Got it. Okay. Awesome. So yukteshu
Yukteshu
beneficial
activities. Evam thus pramadasya being inactive. Kutumba
and him
asatya attached.
Yoshitam was attached to women.
Translation.
Thus King Puranjana, being attached to fruitive activities, Karmakandiya, as well as kith and kin, and being obsessed with polluted consciousness, eventually arrived at the point not very much liked by those who are overly attached to material things.
Anyone like to read? The second paragraph maybe someone else. First paragraph. It's a big word.
In this verse, the words Priya Yoshitam and Apriya are very significant. The word Yoshit means woman and Priya means dear or pleasing. That is not very much welcome for those who are too much attached to material enjoyment, which culminates in sex. There is an instructive story in this connection. Once, when a saintly person was passing on his way, he met a prince, the son of king, and he blessed him, saying, "My dear prince, you may live forever." The sage next met a saintly person and said to him, "You may either live or die." Eventually the sage met a brahmachari devotee, and he blessed him, saying, "My dear devotee, you may die immediately." Finally the sage met a hunter, and blessed him, saying, "Neither live nor die." The point is that those who are very sensual and very engaged in sense gratification do not wish to die. Generally, a prince has enough money to enjoy his senses. Therefore, the great sage said that he should live forever. For as long as he lived, he could enjoy life, but after his death, he would go to hell. Since the brahmachari devotee was living a life of severe austerities and penances in order to be promoted back to Godhead, the sage said that he should die immediately so that he need not to continue the labor hard and could instead go back home, back to Godhead. The saintly person may either live or die, for during his life he is engaged in serving Lord, and after his death he also serves the Lord. Thus this life and next are the same for the saintly devotee.
For in both he serves the Lord, since the hunter lives a very ghastly life due to killing animals, and since he will go to hell when he dies, he is advised to neither live nor die. King Puranjana finally arrived at the point of old age. In old age, the senses lose their strength, and although an old man desires to enjoy his senses, and especially sex life, he is very miserable because his instruments of enjoyment no longer function. Such sensualists are never prepared for death. They simply want to live on and extend their life by so-called scientific advancement. Some foolish Russian scientists also claim that they are going to make man immortal through scientific advancement. Under the leadership of such crazy fellows, civilization is going on cruel death. However, comes and takes all of them away despite their desire to live forever. This type of mentality was exhibited by Hiranyakasipu, but when the time was right, the Lord personally killed him within a second.
मंत्र गुरु यारा आता शिक्षा गुरु गण अनारा चरण आगे करिए बंद. Master says, in fact, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is being such a prolific and renowned author, and he's one of the topmost Vaishnavas. Before starting anything, he's always praying and getting the blessings of his instructing spiritual master and initiating spiritual master. So I'm also just following his footsteps. So yes, we can begin. Just to give a gist, we know that we're discussing about King Puranjana, which is nothing but an allegory. Allegory is more like a figurative speech to explain about something which Narada is trying to convey a message to King Prachina Parishad. Because Prachina Parishad is into sense gratification, and he is doing all kinds of animal sacrifices, which Narada Muni, if he tells him directly, as Prabhupada writes in the purport in the previous chapters, he might not listen to Narada Muni, but he is giving him an allegory, so that he is giving him like a hint that this person, King Puranjana, is like this, and this is what happens. This is what is the end result of when you do sense gratification, so you learn from it. So my one of the Shishya Gurus always quotes this, I don't remember the Bengali verse, but the translation is, when a mother-in-law wants to give chastisement or advice or some kind of message to her daughter-in-law. So you know, in India there's always a problem with mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So she chastises her daughter, not her daughter-in-law, in front of the daughter-in-law. So So it is actually for the daughter-in-law, but she is chastising her daughter. So it's like an allegory. She's trying to figuratively tell her daughter that you will do this. But it's not for a daughter, it's for a daughter-in-law. So same way, that reminds me of the allegory thing. Narad Muni is trying to tell King Pachina Bharisha via Puranjana allegory. So again, we read, I think in the previous classes, Puranjana means somebody who enjoys in a body. So basically a living entity who is enjoying in a body. So that is what we can learn because we are also like that. And what are we learning from King Puranjana and what should be done and what should not be done. So if you see all the verses which we read this morning, Narottama Das Thakur says a very nice line I'm reminded of. Manushya Janma Paiya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Janiya Shudya Vishay Khaini. So it means you got a human life, you didn't serve Radha Krishna, so knowingly you have eaten poison. So the moral of the story is that when you're too much engaged in sense gratification, ultimately it is defeating the purpose of you becoming a human being. That's what the Bhagavatam is saying, that's what Acharyas are saying. So here, King Puranjana is involved too much into family life. See, family life is itself not a problem because it's Grihastha ashram. But when you are getting married, we should understand the goal of marriage. Why we are getting married and what is the ultimate goal. How by getting married you can reach the final goal, the ultimate goal of perfection of human. How can you reach that? So typically in today's world, if you see, people, they will marry for sense gratification. Because Radheshyam Prabhu says in one class that the boy thinks how I can enjoy with the girl, so he gets attracted to the girl, he wants to marry. And the girl thinks that, okay, this boy has got a lot of money, a lot of wealth and opulence, so how I can enjoy. So ultimately it is my enjoyment, which is not really good. It has to be one center, which is Krishna. It has to be for Krishna. If Krishna is the center of the marriage, then the marriage is successful. Otherwise, it is simply a game of sense gratification, which will lead to nowhere. Yes, in the beginning you might win the battle, but you will lose the war. So the goal is to win the war. Here, King Puranjana is overly attached to his wife, as we read in the verses. But quite graphic description which is given in the verses, that he was so attached to his wife and he had so many children, the sons, grandsons, they are like action reaction, which Prabhupada writes. It's an allegory again. So the place Panchala is like a body, King Puranjana is us, the living entity, and due to material contact or material contamination, so he has a lot of sons and daughters, which is action and reaction. So as we are interacting with material nature, and our activities are going to cause action and reaction. So we have to realize that, sometimes when I ask somebody, especially in my office, or somebody who is like not into Krishna consciousness, like, how is it going? Typical question we ask as a morning greeting, how is it going, how are you? So people say, yeah, same old, another day. That's what they reply, right? Another day. So yes, true, another day, agreed. But what they don't realize is that as the sun is rising and the sun is setting, with every passing of the sun from east to west, our life is getting reduced. That we have to understand. Bhagavad gives a very nice verse. Oh, if you can pull out that verse, it's 2:3:17. Just pull out it, I want to share that verse. This is mentioned by Prabhupada in purport to, I think, third verse. But it's not mentioning the verse, it's mentioning about the context. So I just want to share this. This is a very, very, very important verse. Yes. Yes, see. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of God. So if you are not discussing about Krishna every single day, all that is happening is your life is getting reduced and you have to be ready to transmigrate into different species, especially lower ones. But if you are utilizing your time by discussing about Krishna, then the above doesn't apply to you. Like, yes, materially your life will reduce, of course, but you are going back to Godhead, so you're going to live an eternal life. You're not going to die. So the duration of life is not going to get actually reduced, if you see. You have to understand in the little spiritual sense, not in the gross sense. So yeah, so Prabhupada also writes in the purport which we read now that once you grow old, like you are enjoying your whole life, you you have your children, you have your grandsons, then you are behind, collecting wealth for them. Prabhupada writes in one purport, he met one industrialist, he was a wealthy industrialist, I think in Mumbai, and when he spoke to him about Krishna consciousness, he was so busy that he had like half a dozen wives, he said, Prabhupada writes that. And he was busy in collecting wealth for wives and the children and the grandchildren. So he had no time for Krishna. So this is Puranjana. Puranjana basically means one who enjoys in a body. Puranjana, the Sanskrit meaning is a living entity who enjoys in a body, which is not our goal. We have to, when you say enjoy, yes, it can be for Krishna, that is alright, that is dovetailing our activities to Krishna consciousness, but enjoying on your own or enjoying for your sense gratification, that is Maya. That is basically you are becoming a servant of Maya, which is not recommended. Also, there is one verse, there are quite a lot of verses actually, maybe a couple of them I remember now, where there is a word called Grihamedi. Has anybody heard of this word? Grihamedi, right? So Grihastha and Grihamedi. So if you can pull out 2, 1, 2. Just pull out that. I'll just share this. And 7, 9, 45.
Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita?
2, 1, 2. Bhagavatam 2, 1.
Okay.
2, 1, 2. Yes. We will learn that. Right.
Sorry.
It's been 2, 1, 2. Yes. Just add a space after that. It will come. Now. Yes.
Okay.
See, just go up. Yeah, Sanskrit.
Okay.
Yeah. Shrotavyadini Rajendra Anganam Shanti Sahasrisha Apayashatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grahamelinam. So those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to knowledge of ultimate truth, as you said, that is Grihameli. Grihastha is that ashram, as I said, when you are marrying, the man and the woman, they come together. Children is a byproduct. It's not the goal, which people think it is. It is not the goal of married life, or rather life, to get children. No, it's a byproduct. And that too Krishna conscious children, which Krishna confirms in 7th chapter. That when you're doing it as per religious principles, that is me. He says the Tamas, he says that in 7-11. So, but those who do it only getting engrossed for material benefit, like my family, my nation, my children, only that. No God there. That is Grihamedi. That is the meaning. Grihamedi of persons too materially engrossed. Prabhupada translates in the word to word. Right? So also I am going to pull 7, 9, 45. Because Prabhupada has quoted his verses many times. So we should also know. SB 7, 9, 45. This is from Prahlad Maharaj directly. 7, 9, 45. Yes. Yes, go on.
The
It's a
Sanskrit.
beautiful verse.
The translation or Sanskrit?
The first line actually. Yan Vaishunadi Grahamedi Sukham Hitucham. Just scroll down. Scroll down. So sex life is compared to rubbing of 2 hands with an each. Grahamedis, so-called Grihasthas, who have no spiritual knowledge, think that this itching is the greatest platform for happiness. Always source of distress. Dukkha dukkam, that's a Sanskrit word there. So the prepared fools who are just opposite Brahmanas and not satisfied with repeated sensuous enjoyment, those who are dhira, sober, and tolerate this itching, are not subjected to the sufferings of fools and rascals. So what is the point here? What I am trying to make is, Puranjana's story is basically telling us what is it in for me, what I can learn from it. We all can learn from it. That Puranjana, this character, is only engrossed in sense gratification. So his wife, children, Prabhupada writes, they are good sons. They are not all born Hiranyakashipus. No, they are good sons because he himself had higher consciousness. In the Bhagavatam it says that Puranjana had a higher consciousness. It's not that he was some low level Shudra like that. It's not described like that. But just having good sons is not sufficient. Having Krishna conscious sons means, the Shastra says, a father is a real father who delivers his son from the clutches of birth and death. That is a real father.
But this is completely hypothetical character. There is no Puranjan, there was no Puranjan.
As I said, the mother-in-law's daughter-in-law thing. So Narad Muni is trying to make King Rachana Varishad understand that his activities, which are focused on animal killing, if you see the previous chapters, they are not good. if he tells him directly, he being the king will not listen. Narad Muni says that. So he's given an allegory. Because this character is like you only, he's saying. Sinful. Because King Prachinavarasha also asks him, kindly instruct me in pure knowledge. He asks him that. So he gives him this full example of how this person was, what he was doing, and what happened at the end, which we read in the 12th verse.
What consciousness he had,
Who?
Puranjana.
Puranjana consciousness, he was having a good consciousness, but due to attachment, overly attachment and association with women, especially his wife, and later you will read about women also. Later, when you read the verses, it's there. He fell down. So he was only attached to, producing children and living a good life. So whatever I do for my family, which is not bad, it's not wrong. Yes, it's nice. But the mood is important. The goal and intention is important. You know what I mean? The goal of life is just living for my family. Goal I said. That's not the goal. Okay? Yes, you have to do it. It's one of your duties. If you are a grihastha, those who are married will know. If you are a grihastha, you have to do a certain set of duties. It's not that I just you are standing and leaving everything. No. Prabhupada never said like this. Prabhupada is very practical, and so are the Shastras. So Prabhupada, if you see the history of our movement, there are so many people who got married, like Prabhupada got them married. Why he got them married? To set an example of an ideal grihastha. So both husband and wife are married, but they are not mad behind lusty desires. All they are doing is, yes, they are having children, they are trying to make them Krishna conscious so that they relieve their children from birth and old age disease. And they are relieving themselves also, because Prabhupada has their hand on them. That's why you should have like Guru also in your life, who can save you from the material, material miseries, yes. And if you see Puranjana, he was only for his family and his children. And later you see the sons and grandsons, which are described as actions and reactions, they are only going to plunder his wealth. What is the use? That industrialist in Mumbai, he has almost 5-6 wives and a certain number of children from all of them. Now, why is he earning wealth? All day he's working day and night like Prabhupada says, like an ass, like a donkey. Why is he working? For his family and kids. But what is going to happen? They will plunder his wealth. Are they helping him going back to order? They are not. Then doesn't really make sense. Okay? Does it mean you should not marry and not have? No, it's not like that. Some people take it to the extreme. Because if I have married, I will fall into this, if I don't get married. No, it's not like that. Prabhupada has given such a beautiful morning program. He has given you chanting, he has given you Mahamantra, he has given you Harinam. So when you are having these things, yes, you can get married if you wish. That's all right. Some brahmacharis, if they want to get married, they can get married. But under proper guidance of the Guru, the Gurus are there are senior Vaishnavas in the temple, you can take guidance from them and then you can get married. Or you can stay at brahmachari. But moral of the story is, you have to keep Krishna in the center, whichever ashram you are in. Rather than only, falling into self-gratification. Because as we read here, as Prabhuji was reading the purport, that story is very, very nice. The sage, 4 types of people he is giving advice. It's oft quoted by many speakers. So first is meeting the son of a king who is a prince, who has got a lot of opulence and money and wealth to enjoy. So he says that you can die. No, he doesn't say. He says what? You live forever. Yeah, you live, you enjoy. He says that, and then he meets a brahmachari. He says you die immediately because brahmachari is doing a lot of austerities and penances. So to save his suffering in this material world, you die immediately and go back. And then he meets hunter is last, a devotee, I believe. Yes, a devotee who is involved in serving Krishna here as well as you keep him in hell, you keep him in heaven, you keep him wherever you keep. A devotee is always involved in serving Krishna. So it doesn't matter, like if he's not suffering doesn't matter for him. He's transcendental to that. Somebody like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is not suffering in material world. Prabhupada is not under the influence of Maya. Okay? We are, but he's not. Because he's Haripaksha. He's coming straight from the spiritual world. So he's not under the influence of Maya. So such people can live anywhere. Even if he goes in hell for some preaching or doing some activity, as per the will of the Lord, no problem. Prabhupada is not affected. That's how he is. So that's why we are so fortunate to have Prabhupada association in Krishna consciousness. And the last is the person, I believe, the hunter. Nor live nor die. Because it's so abominable, he's killing animals and doing their ghastly acts. So you live or die, it doesn't matter, easy. So ultimately, the moral is, if you see, material life is given to you. You are in this world. You have taken birth as a human being. The material contamination will be there. Of course, you can't stop. You can't say, this is my and this is me. No, you can't. Because you're in, it's like this, you're swimming and you're complaining of getting wet. You can't do it. You are in this bhavasamsara, it's an ocean of material misery, so you are going to have troubles. But if you're having troubles, how are you going to deal with them? How are you going to face your problems? How are you going to, counteract whatever reactions are happening? Or how do you understand and see the hand of God? That is spirituality. That is what we are learning. So later also when you learn Bhagavad the verses, you will realize that when this Puranjana becomes old, he doesn't have those senses which can help him enjoy, and that people don't like, because all their life they are used to enjoying. So when they grow old, it becomes difficult, because there is no sense. They want to, but they can't. They want, that is misery. From the beginning, if you were trained, then it doesn't matter. Right? It's like this, you have an exam like after 3 months. All 3 months you're watching Netflix. And last day of the exam you want to study. You will fail. Obviously. Right? So it's not business plan, it's your poor choice. So similarly, here also we are given this human body. What we can do is, we can use it, the best use of a bad bargain, which Prabhupada writes, most of the purpose. Best use of a bad bargain. You have a human body, but you use it to serve Krishna. And also one verse I want to share with you. You said 7945, right, Prabhu?
That's probably.
You want to really share? Let me share that. Yes, yeah. Okay. I will share when we have question answers. Never mind. So how much time I have? 5 minutes? More, including question answer, right? Including question. So it's 8:30. It's 25, 8:30. Alright. So yes, so essentially all that we are reading here, the gist is that Prabhupada is trying to tell us that when you are on a spiritual path, whatever you are doing, try to develop activities to Krishna consciousness. Avoid getting entangled into material miseries. Yes, they will come, we understand. But if you have good association, if your sadhana is strong, if you are having purity, which is coming from following 4 regulative principles, and which is, purity is the force, Prabhupada writes, purity is the force, and sincerity is indestructible. So if you are sincere, this way it can help you advance in Krishna consciousness, definitely. So have good association, read Shastra, keep chanting, be consistent, most important. Try to be consistent in chanting, then you won't become like Puranjana. Essentially we all are Puranjana only. That is why we are reading this. We all are the living entity in a body. And that's what Puranjana means. So we all are Puranjana. But what Puranjana did, we can avoid. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, thanks to Acharyas, thanks to great exalted Vaishnavas we have in Krishna consciousness movement, who advise us and instruct us what to do and what not to do. So that way we can lead our life to spiritual success. That's all from me. So any questions we can take? There's a lot we can say, but we do as time constraint. I can stop here and take questions.
I just wanted to add the word to domain.
Yes, please.
The words that you said about as the sun passes.
Yes, you want to do that.
Yeah, so I just wanted to quote, if you allow,
Yeah,
if you don't mind. Nitai and Mataji quotes that we have certain breaths that has been given by God. But
Yes.
the thing is that when you sit in the Bhagavatam class, the Yavraj also comes. And he takes each and every picture of the pilgrim who was sitting in the Bhagavatam class. And whatever the breath you take. So technically, whosoever actually hears the Bhagavatam, they are Amar. It means that the breath taken in the Bhagavatam class is not counted as a part of your breath given by the Lord. So if you hear Satatan Kirtayantamam, right, in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, you will be Amar. So that's what, until unless you are discussing the qualities, pastimes, and about Supreme Personality of Godhead, the day is wasted.
To add to you, can you put one thing I remember from you? Sir, 10:16, 10:16, pull that. It's beautiful. Today only I shared. You must remember.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we have not seen. I'm going to go home.
Okay. Good, you said that. Reminded me of today's verse. This is very nice. It's a beautiful verse.
Yes.
We all should know this. Yes. Go to the translation. By the way, my name is there in the verse. So I'm fortunate.
We would like to read it now.
Yeah.
Vasudeva Katha Krishna
Salilam.
Punadihi Tara Prachana Pratam Tatpada Salilam. So this one.
I didn't recall your name. Your name was Sashibhushan.
I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah. See, the Ganges emanating from the toe of Lord Vishnu purifies 3 worlds, upper, middle and lower planetary systems. Similarly, to your point, one who asks questions about pastimes and characteristics of Lord Vasudeva Krishna. 3 varieties of men are purified. So in the class, the speaker or the preacher, he who inquires, and people in general who listen. All 3 are purified. Yes.
Like you mentioned, during the young age, you do sense gratification, and then when you get older, your body doesn't support you, but still you do it.
Yes.
And so, when we do sense gratification, the desires come because of the bodily requirements.
Yes.
But when your body doesn't support you, then too those desires remain in you.
Yes.
Who acquires those desires? I mean,
Well, those, okay, first thing,
the
those,
body or the soul?
not the soul, the soul is away from it. It's like a car and a driver inside. So, if it is raining, it's actually on the car. It's all about the body. It's not the soul. The soul is inside the body, as we know. So, mind has impressions from past lives. Those go on in the next life also. Those impressions are, it's a subtle body, so those impressions will go on. Now in this life, you have impressions of past life also. For example, let us take an example of somebody who is, say, into, watching all, like, lusty things, for example. So past life, that person was doing that. So the mind has the impression. This type also it will come. Okay? But that person has the choice to dovetail those activities, what he is doing, to Krishna. That will purify him. Although those impressions are there, then the impressions will not matter. Because if you are surrendering to the Lord, He takes charge. Okay? And when He takes charge, of course, that mind, impression, past life, it's all about that. Because He's Krishna, no? He will take charge. That is the point. Okay? The desires will be there. It is for the body, the desires. Once the body is gone because of death, because material, the desires are carried forward by the mind in the next body. And at the time of death, what the person was thinking, he becomes, as we know it. Right? So at the time of death, if you're thinking something and then you become that. So the mind carries those impressions. The mind is doing it.
So the mind stimulates, the mind triggers those.
Yes, the mind. That's why we have 2-6 chapter 8 on Bhagavad Gita.
The body doesn't support.
Yes, the mind. Because Prabhupada gave this example so many times when he was preaching in, I think in Paris. He saw an 80-year-old man in strip club. 80-year-old man. This is how he said, look at the rascal how he is. Instead of taking God's name, he is in strip club at the age of 80. It happens. So you can see this in Toronto also. And you can see so many people, like if you see how they are all, it's not just strip club, it's like just enjoying also, like normal lusty desire. Anything other than Krishna is lust. Lust always doesn't mean sexual activity. Yes, it is a meaning, not the meaning. You know what I mean? Lust is a very big word. So lust, anger and greed, you know, right? 3 gates to hell. So Chaitanya Prabhu says it's LAG. If you have this LAG, you lag in life. Right? Lust, anger, greed. Remember that. You always lag in life. You should never have that. Lust, anger, greed. And intelligence also, he says a very beautiful statement. Intelligence is about that mind. Intelligence means which thoughts to pin and which thoughts to build. That's also beautiful, right? Which you should pin in your mind. Yeah, you should remember this. And you should build which does it. You should throw it. You should not have that. That is intelligence. Which thoughts to pin and which thoughts to build. Let's go. Sorry, Mataji, you if you don't.
Prabhuji can go first.
Okay, yes.
This is regarding that mind perspective.
Yes.
See, whatever action we do in a best way, if you want to do any action in a best way, automatically if we listen inwards, attachment is getting started, right? Then slowly that attachment leads to all problems.
Yes.
So, in starting itself, how to practice detachment?
Detachment. Okay, so detachment and knowledge. Bhagavad says, I think it's 1 to 6. It says that the beginning of your spiritual realization is based on detachment and knowledge. Knowledge, of course, about what we are learning, Bhagavad, soul, body, everything, and detachment from material desires or material whatever wishes you have, and attachment to Krishna. That is very important. See, when the hippies came, when Prabhupada actually went and he saw the hippies, and they, wanted to start like a rebellious movement. Everybody was telling the hippies, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And they were frustrated. What to do? Prabhupada gave them what to do, what to do, what to do, what to do. That is required. He only didn't give them detachment. No, this is wrong, but what is right then? What I should be attached to? He gave them that. So if somebody is saying, yes, I am detached from material life, today I have become a big sage. No, you can't. It's all self-gratification. Because after some time you will fall down. Why? Because you don't have the correct attachment. If you are detaching, there has to be attachment also. Simple, right? So how to detach? By attaching to Krishna. By dovetailing your activities to Krishna consciousness. By reading Shastra, associating with devotees, hearing about the Lord. Hearing is very important. Hearing, exalted souls, then reading, then deity worship in your home, you can come here, attend Aarti. All these things help you detach. Okay, then you might argue, wait, I am doing all these things, many people do these things, but still there are attachments. Of course, yes, there will be attachments because I told you, you're in a swimming pool, you can't complain of getting wet. You're in water. It is going to happen. So every single time it happens, you have to make a conscious choice. Conscious choice of asking yourself this question, this wonderful question I always ask myself personally, and it has worked fantastically for me last 5 years. Whatever I am doing, is it Krishna conscious? Is it going to help me advance to the Lord and serve Prabhupada and please my Guru? Yes, then I'm in. No, I'm out. That's it. This is the simple law or simple equation I apply always. In any situation, in any work I am doing.
So Krishna consciousness will take care of our spiritual ego also.
Well, our true ego is we are a servant of the Lord, and our false ego is that we are Lord of material nature. So when you are Krishna conscious, you have seva bhav. You should not be attached to the seva, you should be attached to the seva bhav. There's a difference. Okay? I will do only this service. No, not like that. You have to do service which will please the Lord. That means that bhav is important. Not this I will not do A, B, C, I will do D because I like D. That is self-gratification. So when you are Krishna conscious, yes, it will take care of your false ego. And automatically you will be in your true ego, which is the servant of the Lord. So your original position is restored. At least you realize that you are a servant, not a master. Only one master you have. That's it. Yes.
So, Prabhu, my question was that we always hear that Prabhupada says that it's very important for women to be married.
Yes.
That's what he's prescribed.
Yes.
That it's important for you to be under shelter of your father, brother, or husband.
Yes.
But in today's time, practically, when you are seeing people, even
Yes.
for that intention, what you see on the surface and what you see in reality are two very different things.
Yes.
What we hear in theory versus what people actually apply in life is very different.
Yes.
So when you're trying to make a distinction between these two paths, if you have to follow the guru, which is the biggest thing, then you should be married. Correct?
Okay. Yes.
But if you are the people that you've interacted with, for them, sadhanas at 1 hour and 22 hours are very different in life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But if you're not finding people for whom grihast is the way of life and not griha, and griha maybe
Maybe.
is, but grihast is not, then what paths is something that will please Prabhupada? To just be married to someone for the sake because he's instructed it, despite the fact that they're not following everything or they're not doing everything, or to wait and see what is Krishna's plan.
Remember verse 110 Bhagavad, which says that in Kali Yuga, basically people are unintelligent, lazy, misguided and disturbed. Bhagavad says that. 110. So yes, I mean, the context when Prabhupada is saying that a woman has to be under the shelter of her father before marriage, and her husband after marriage, and later years son, right? The context is when that time the husband or the male person there was also somebody who was not like Ravan. He was like Ram. I mean, kind of. I mean, of course, somebody is following the regulatory principles, who is doing their sadhana, whatever. Not like what we have in Kali Yuga, but like a Brahman. That time it was different. That is the context of the Vedas. Now, coming to the practicality point, yes, nowadays it is like somebody might act like Ravan and expect to be called a Ram. That's what is happening. So that doesn't really make sense. And it won't happen because you might expect a lot of things, but you have to see the practical situation. The lady who is living with such a person is going to be miserable. She will not be able to do bhakti, and there will be no peace in the house. So when it comes to your point about asking guru, so when you have a guru, Your Guru Maharaj will always select or give you the proper guidance, typically, because they can see, they have the spiritual vision and higher realization because of their Guru who has given them that kind of mercy and vision. So they can see the person who they are choosing for you is good, depending, they will also of course see whether the person is doing sadhana, what is the background, where is the person coming from. I doubt if they will just approve what you like, because they will also try to see that you should be happy. And happy for not self-gratification, for advancing in bhakti. Both of you should have Krishna at the center. If one of them doesn't understand this before marriage, then you have enough choice to reconsider your decision and wait, as you said, for the higher time. Of course, there are higher calculations always. But there are also situations where after you get married also people become, one of them becomes Krishna conscious and other doesn't. Because everybody takes their own time. So it's a very funny thing, Prabhupada was asked this, and Prabhupada said a very nice thing, that if your wife is Krishna conscious, then good, you will advance, everything is nice, you people will advance, you do bhakti and you go back to Godhead. If your wife is not Krishna conscious, totally she is like Grahamedi, but you are fully Krishna conscious and you become a pure devotee. Yes, because you will always remember Krishna, always. Always there will be fights, there will be conflicts, and you become pure devotee. It's a fact, I'm telling you. It's a hardcore fact. Not pure devotee, pata nahi, but yeah, if there is fight like this, if somebody remembers Krishna, if he does, or if the wife is Krishna conscious, the husband is not, if she does, certainly there is a full chance of advancement. 100%. That is a higher plan. Because last life you don't know what you were. You might be that kind of a spouse who was not Krishna conscious and you have harassed somebody. So you're going to get it back. Fine. But you know how to counteract it. So either when you are getting married, if you are finding a person who is into this, great. If not, you can wait. Otherwise, yeah, you got married because you both like each other, fine. But later there may be problems. There will 100% be problems because of the difference in consciousness. They will see you. I'll tell you a real example. I'm preaching to somebody in this congregation. A real example. I can't take names. I won't. But the spouse sees the other person as, you will leave me because of this Krishna consciousness. You will go away from me. Too much bhakti you are doing. Arey Baba, it is not like that. When you are grihastha, you are required to be grihastha. If you come out, in fact, people here in our temple, senior people will not appreciate it. You left everything and you want to become sannyasi. No, not you. You have to be in the sphere. So, before getting married, you have enough time and choice and the free will to check how the person is. And of course, take advice and kind of mentoring from your guru. They will show you the way because they know the better. You might not see 10 things in that person good, you might see only 5 things, the guru can see 15 more things, which will be beneficial for you too. Because that's why he is guru. Guru is somebody who removes darkness from your life. This is darkness. So Om Agyanti Virandas, that's what we say, right? So Gu means, I think, heavy, and Ru means the one who removes that darkness. That is Guru. There's a different, you must know in Prabhuji, Guru ka Arth, right? So Guru has got, the weightage is very heavy in our life. Spiritually, that person is very heavy, and he helps you advance. So that way you can see. You can take your Guru's advice, and then you can decide. And wait for Krishna's plan. Ultimately, it is his plan. Ultimately. Yes.
Here, I just want to add along with the same discussion. Most of the people who I'm seeing in the foreground, their activity is like Grahastha. Background, their activity is Kiranmidi.
He says, Mohan Rupa Prabhu. Prabhu says, those who drink tea are cup tea. Okay, those who drink a lot of tea, that's cup tea. Cup tea means wicked. So this is you're showing one thing and you're behind the other. This is a common symptom of Kali Yuga. Okay, so yes, now it depends on if you see somebody like this, it depends on 2 things. Your relationship with the person, whether you are having a cordial relationship like a brother or like a son, whoever the person is, or your authority, you are like a Shiksha Guru. Both ways you can say, because you know that the person will listen. Otherwise, it's better not to. Let the person go to their spiritual superiors. And those persons are the right person to instruct them that you should not do this. Yeah, if you well-wish somebody, it's not a problem. But what happens is if you go and even tell them, Upadeshi Murkhanam na Shante, there's a verse also in Shastra, in Upadesh. where you go and say good things to people, they get offended. And who are you to tell me like that? It happens. You have good intentions, but fine. So all you can do is you can pray that they get intelligence, Krishna inside them gives them intelligence, and let their spiritual superior talk to them and help them out. And if you can, depending on the relationship, or if you are their instructing spiritual master or your mentor or whatever in the leadership position, you can also say, no problem. So for example, one example I can give our Maharaj, Bhaktivan Swami His Bhaktivan Maharaj, if you see something wrong happening, given my age, I cannot go and tell somebody, no, this is not right. What are you doing? Technically, I may be right. So what I can do, I can just approach Maharaj. I can say, Maharaj, this is what I think. What do you think? What is your opinion? What is your guidance on this? That is the right. If he says, the person will listen. Because Maharaj is that pure. You know what I mean? I am not.
Yeah.
Yeah.